Greetings. If you've watched my YouTube videos before, there's a good chance that you already know who I am and I don't need to introduce myself. He found that funny. But if you are new here, hello, my name is Phantom, also known as Mermaid Phantom, the Dark Slayeress, or the Magic Crafter, depending on where you're coming from. I am a professional mermaid and I also love alternative fashion, but today we are here to talk about mermaid stuff specifically. More specifically, we're going to be talking about some guidelines that we have here in the mermaid community. They aren't really formally written guidelines, but they're kind of things that I think are generally considered respectful when you're part of this community, and they're just some things to keep in mind if you would like to become a mermaid or a merman, whether that be professionally or recreationally, aka just for fun. So without further ado, let's get started. Rule or guideline number 1. Nobody really knows what a real mermaid or merman looks like. So do not feel for one moment that if you want to be a part of the merfolk community that you have to fit into a certain box. Yes, true, you may see certain depictions of mermaids and mermen in storybooks or on TV or in movies or on social media or artwork, but remember, these are mythological creatures, and if you want to create your own version of this mythological creature, go for it, because nobody really knows what they look like anyways. And however you want to look as a mermaid or a merman, as long as it's not like, you know, exposing yourself illegally or whatever, it's okay. You can be a fat mermaid, you can be a skinny mermaid, you can be a mommy mermaid, you can be a guy, a girl, you can have acne, you can dress like a princess, you can dress like a devil hunter, you can have a fabric tail that looks like everybody else's tail but gets you where you want to go, or you can have a silicone tail that is one of a kind and is your dream tail. Wherever you are right now, that is the best place to start, and you are welcome into the community no matter what it is you look like or what you have. And remember folks, if you are a seasoned member of the community, feel free to drop your tips down below or your guidelines. I know it's not like an official like, hey, these are the rules, because there's not really specific rules, like the world is a free world, but like, you know, help everybody out so we can all get along and not like kill each other. Okay. Guideline number 2. If you're going to be a part of the mermaid community, please be respectful of other people's mermaid characters. In the mermaid community, we have something called a mersona, which is essentially a character that is your mermaid version of you. And I know that sounds really childish, and some people might think it is a little bit childish, but you know what, like, it is what it is. Some of us use this for business, some of us use this to hide our fun mermaid identity from our boring day-to-day lives, whatever. It is what it is, but please be respectful of the characters that other people have created, and don't go out of your way to try to replicate those characters. I mean, obviously it's a little hard if you have your natural brown hair and you're swimming in a generic fabric mermaid tail. Chances are someone else is going to have brown hair and a fabric mermaid tail just like yours. But for example, me, I have a very custom look. It's very recognizable. I have people all over the world who know who Mermaid Phantom, my character, is. And if you were to attempt to be my character, I would be very, very upset. And that is for many different reasons. First of all, I like having my own unique identity, as do most people. I am an individual, as are you. But secondly, I have a business. So let's say, for example, you decide you're going to try to copy my character, Mermaid Phantom. And you go and you do something while you're in my look and you're looking like me and you actually do a good job looking like me, and you go off and do something that maybe wasn't the best thing to do. Maybe you say something offensive to somebody, do something that is illegal, or just, you know, bad behavior in general, or do something that just won't make people all that happy. And they think you're me. And then all of a sudden, I have people sending me emails complaining about things that I've done that I didn't actually do. And that hurts my business, and that hurts me as a person, because I do also have another job. If people start talking about things, things get around. And it's just not something I want to deal with. It's not something anyone wants to deal with. In addition to that, people who have silicone mermaid tails, they're usually custom. They spend a ton of money getting their tails custom so they can be one of a kind, and it's extremely disrespectful and usually not allowed by other tail makers to try to replicate their custom design. So just be you if you're going to be a part of this community. I know it's tempting sometimes to do what's popular, but just do what is right for you. Be you because you are unique. There's only one of you. I'll create a video on how to create a unique Mersona in case you need some help. And I also have a whole Mersona bootcamp creation playlist that you can watch in the description box below. And the creating your own unique Mersona video will be released next week. Oh, there he goes. There goes the hair. Come on, tree, let go. It is currently raining, so we're going to camp out under a beautiful tree for the third guideline I have. And that is, my friends, to please, please, please reconsider getting a silicone mermaid tail as your first tail. I know they are very tempting because they are absolutely gorgeous and they offer a lot of room for customizing your own character, but please understand that silicone mermaid tails are a huge investment. They often cost about $3,000 on up. You can get a couple that are a little bit cheaper, more like the $1,000 range, but still they are a huge investment. And until you know whether or not you like being a mermaid or a merman, I advise, and many others advise, that you do not get a silicone mermaid tail right away. To add to that, silicone mermaid tails are very heavy and they're not easy to transport. Rain, go away! And they are also very difficult to care for. You can watch my cleaning videos if you don't believe me. They'll be in the description box. Also repair videos, drawing videos, whatever. When you're done using a silicone mermaid tail, you have to clean it every single time, and it takes a very long time. And to add to that further, if you don't know how to swim in a mermaid tail and you haven't mastered that dolphin kick technique yet, there's a really good chance that you could damage your $3,000 custom tail if you decide to get one as your first tail, because you have to learn how to be spatially aware of the giant, like 2-foot thing behind you, and learn how to not run into people with it, how not to scrape it against walls, just all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of things that can damage your tail, and you just want to be safe, and you want to keep everybody around you safe. And there are many great fabric tails. If you want a custom one, you can get custom tails from FinFun, you can get custom tails from Mertailor, a couple of other places too, I think. I'll have a video on that. Do not get a silicone mermaid tail for your first tail. I know it's very tempting, but make sure you practice with either a monofin or a fabric tail. I will link both below. That's what I started with. I started with a FinFun fabric tail, and now I have blossomed into the mermaid that I am. Everybody starts from somewhere, and it's best to start the safe way and the way that's not going to land you $3,000 in debt with a ruined tail. There's a bag on top of my camera because it's starting to really rain. I just love northern Michigan. It's not really sarcastic, I do love it, but yeah, if you hear any pitter-patter noise, that is the rain hitting my camera. So the fourth guideline I have for you, if you'd like to become part of the mermaid community or merman community, is to remember that you do not have to be a professional mermaid or merman to be a part of this wonderful community. If you want, just go ahead and have fun as you. Like, just go be a mermaid. It doesn't matter how old you are, young you are, or, well, as long as you can swim, but whatever, just like go have fun. You don't have to be a professional, but of course, if you'd like to, you can. I know a lot of people do this professionally, but don't feel that you have to. This can be just a for fun thing. Sometimes when you do try to make something that's fun a profession or a job, it kind of takes the fun out of it. So do what you want, but just remember, you don't have to go pro if you don't want to. But even if you don't want to be a professional mermaid, please do remember to be respectful of the professional mermaids in your area. And this is kind of guideline number 5. So whether you want to be a professional mermaid or just a mermaid for fun, remember, if there are other mermaids in your area, even if that's in your state or in your country, Be respectful of them and the fact that they do this in an attempt to help pay the bills. There is never a reason that you should be offering your services for free as a mermaid, even if you just do this for fun at big public events where a professional mermaid could make money, because that's really undercutting all the other mermaids in your area, and it's also cheapening the profession of a professional mermaid. Like, if people can get a mermaid for free, why would they ever pay anybody to do this? They wouldn't. And then the people who rely on this for money wouldn't make any money, and they wouldn't have a job. My bag just fell off of my camera. So whether you're going to be a professional mermaid or not, please never do work for free. The only time it's kind of okay to do work for free is if you're doing it for your direct family members or a close friend. Like, maybe they have a kid that's having a birthday party and they're like, hey, could you just bring your tail and just have fun, whatever. Or if you want to volunteer at a place that does not pay in general, like a nonprofit organization, maybe you want to do a beach cleanup or something and offer an incentive for people to come and you aren't getting paid for it, that's fine. But if it is a place that would typically pay somebody to work or to make an appearance, don't show up just to get attention, because that really hurts everybody else in the community. It's also very annoying. To go along with that, I'm going to offer up guideline number 6. I'm not moving for this one because we're in a good spot for shelter. So guideline number 6 would be, if you do plan on becoming a professional mermaid or merman, please be respectful of the others that are already in your area. Again, don't do free work. Also, don't contact places that already hire mermaids and try to undercut the other merfolk. I know some people will say, well, that's good business and that's what you do. You offer a better rate, a better discount, whatever. But please remember, this is a community. And say, for example, if I have a client coming to me and they want me to find some other mermaids to be extras in a movie that I'm going to be a part of, and they know I have connections, if you steal my job from some other time, like in the past, I'm not going to forget that, and I'm not going to be contacting you. Please remember to be respectful of others, and just, you know, if you want to work in an event that another mermaid's working at, contact that mermaid directly and say, hey, I noticed that you work at this place. I'd really like to see how I could help out. Could I maybe tag along sometime, whether it's for experience or, you know, to learn from you? Or is there an opening for another mermaid? Could I join your pod? Whatever. Sometimes mermaids will offer ways to collaborate with each other, whether that's like, you hire them as like a contractor, independent contractor, or maybe they could recommend you to somewhere else, whatever. Just don't undercut other mermaids. Work hard to earn your own book of business. Don't offer your rates really, really cheap. Don't offer yourself for free. I have a whole video on how to become a professional mermaid if you're interested in becoming a professional mermaid, and I will link that in the description box with everything else. Okay, we zoomed out slightly to make it seem like I actually moved, but I didn't. The camera lens just zoomed out a little bit. So number 7 guideline for becoming a part of the mermaid community would be to remember not to fall prey to the comparison critter or the social media monster. All right, because maybe you're just doing this for fun, or maybe you're doing this professionally. It doesn't really matter. It gets very easy to fall into that comparison mode where you're looking at other people's photos, pictures, videos. Photos and pictures are the same thing. Either way, looking at other people's stuff, seeing the adventures they're going on, seeing their beautiful photos and their videos and whatever, seeing how many likes and followers they have, it gets really easy to fall into that dark pit. And yeah, true, for business, sometimes it is nice to have more followers. It can be helpful, and it can be helpful to have more likes on posts and more engagement in general. However, you know what? There is so much more to life than social media and likes and follows. This isn't just about social media though. This is also about comparison as a whole and looking at somebody else's journeys and seeing what they've done. For example, lots of mermaids have really great breath holds. I don't. I don't really have a need for a long breath hold though, because what I do is splice videos together and create videos. That's my primary source of fun in this mermaid world, is creating videos for others to enjoy. And to do that, I don't need a long breath hold. And I used to beat myself up over that all the time. And now, you know what? I don't don't care. And if you are at a point where you see somebody like doing cool tricks and everything and you can't do that trick yet, don't worry about it. They are at a different point in their journey than you are. Maybe that's something you'll want to learn in the future and you can practice and get to that point, but maybe just something that looks cool and it's cool for them, and you know, you don't really need to learn it or don't have the desire to learn that trick. Doesn't matter. And this also applies to, for example, I went to Singapore a while ago. And, well, not a while ago, it was about a year ago, almost 2 years ago. And you might look at that and say, why haven't I gone to Singapore? Well, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. A lot of people don't know this. I've been working on video stuff for many, many, many years, even before I started my business. And I've also been doing cosplay sort of stuff, and I just have a different life path than you might, and I've just done different things to get me to the point of where I've been and what I've done, and you'll have your own journey. You just gotta let time unfold. So don't fall prey to the comparison monster and the social media monster. Those two are some evil beasts, and that can be a very, very dark tunnel to dig yourself out of. If you dig out of tunnels, you get the picture. Don't compare yourself to others, because you are special, unique, just the way you are. Number 8, and we didn't really move, I just moved like a foot over here and pretended like I moved, once again, because it's still raining. Number 8, and this is one that's going to be a little bit controversial, and some people might really hate me for this, but I'm gonna say it because it's something that I struggled with from the beginning, and I've grown and developed since. But a lot of mermaids and mermen are activists in the mermaid community. They will do things to encourage the, like cleaning our oceans, taking care of our wildlife, and a lot of them are very passionate about what they do. But please bear in mind that you do not have to be an activist in order to be a mer person. Yes, please help take care of our planet. If there is a sea creature that's very near and dear to you, yes, definitely tell people why this creature is important and why it deserves to live and not go extinct. And just, yeah, pick up trash, all that sort of good stuff. But if you haven't quite yet developed that fire and that passion to help take care of our oceans or our lakes or our streams or whatever, just consider this. If you're just starting out as a mermaid or merman, you haven't had much time swimming in the lakes or the oceans or whatever, at least that's, you know, what I'm assuming, and you might not have formed that connection yet, so don't feel bad if you don't have this fiery, burning passion to defend the ocean, because that will come with time. Trust me, I used to not care really much about anything in general, and then when I became a mermaid, you guys have no idea how defensive I am over Lake Michigan. Like I have collected a lot of trash out of the water, and I have aggressively thrown it back over the pier when people throw it into the water. So yes, you will develop that. And even if environmentalism isn't your primary fire, that thing that lights you up inside and gets you really, really passionate, just remember that the mermaid community and the world as a whole needs people who will clean up our oceans and our forests. Yes, we need that. But we also need people who are going to represent people with disabilities. We need people who are going to uplift minorities. We need people who will bring their art into the world and inspire other people through their artwork, through their videos, through their books, whatever. Even if you aren't the classic mermaid activist, remember, you have many other things to offer. Yes, do try to help our environment and our world as a whole, because it desperately needs that, but don't feel bad if you don't have that burning fire. I didn't have that to begin with. I definitely do now in some aspects, especially when it comes to my lake. Very defensive over that. But if you haven't found that thing that really calls to you yet, remember, it will come and you will find your way to contribute to the mermaid community and the world at large. Just give it time. You'll find yourself. This 9th one is a little bit controversial, and yes, I'm staying under this tree because the rain's coming down. Thank you, Michigan. But I'm a controversial person, I guess. This one is one that maybe not everybody will agree with, but I think most people will understand. When you are a part of the mermaid or merman community, whether you are a professional or not, And whether you like it or not, you are a hero in the eyes of the little kids that see you. And maybe you aren't the biggest fan of little kids, but please do remember they are our future. They are the future of this world. And what they see you doing and how they see you behaving directly relates to how they will behave. I have seen it. I work at a school, and there have been kids that have seen me as a mermaid before, and they may not actually know that I am the mermaid, but I hear them talking about the mermaid at school and the things that I do, and they really, whether you know it or not, seeing you, because you are this magical creature that isn't supposed to exist, seeing you is like a moment they will not forget. So please just bear that in mind when you're going out and doing things as a mermaid. You are, whether you like it or not, a public figure, and you have eyes on you. So I guess do with that information what you will, but just remember that fact, that if you like it or not, you're our hero, and kids are watching you, and kids are our future, whether you like them or not, and whether you like it or not. So just think twice before you say certain things, do certain things, and maybe be conscious of your actions, rather than maybe doing something that's slightly shady and possibly illegal. Maybe consider showing them that you can take trash out of the ocean and ask them to help you throw it in the trash can. They really love that, by the way. When a mermaid asks them to throw trash in the trash can, they love it. Anyways, let's move on to the 9th one. We're just gonna glide right into it. 10. We're gonna glide into the 10th one. The brain's getting to my brain. Number 10. The mermaid community is generally a very loving, kind, and creative community, and most of the people are very nice, very helpful, very deeply caring and passionate individuals. So just please treat everybody nice like you would in any community. I mean, I don't think you're going to your neighbor's door and just yelling profane things at them. Just be nice, have fun, and welcome to the mermaid community. I hope this video was helpful. I feel like I kind of have a darker tone today. I think it's the rain. I'm still a little bit sick. I did get tested. I don't have you know what, but I hope this wasn't too dark, doom and gloom, and too many no this, no that, no this. And again, everybody who is a seasoned member of this community, I encourage you to add your own little pieces of advice in the comment section. I'll try to get a little pinned comment for all the seasoned mermaids who have been doing this for a while. Any suggestions you have for people who might be new to the mermaid community. And also, if you're still watching at this point, please check the description box. I will link down a couple of other channels that are really helpful, and some videos of mine that are very helpful, I think, for those who would like to become a professional mermaid. I suggest Nerdmaid Faith as a good channel. Courtney Mermaid, Mermaid Echo has some helpful videos. I can't remember the rest, but I'll just write them right here. My brain's going dead, so. Oh, Raina, Mermaid Raina has some very helpful videos as well. And there are a couple of other mermaids out there too. So check out their channels, check out some more videos on this channel. Educate yourself, have fun, and be magical. Thank you for watching. I will see you next Friday.